Hi and welcome to Daily TFT Tips. Today I wanted to talk about the one trait that I currently believe is the most misunderstood trait in the entire game, and I'm talking of course about the Enchanters. So let's just read it out loud. What do they do? Your team has bonus magic resist. Enchanters gain bonus healing and shielding. It's a very short description, but unfortunately, you can argue they could have made it clearer, but pretty much all the information is here. Enchanters gain bonus healing and shielding, not your team. So I think the most common misconception about Enchanters is that people think that, oh yeah, I'm gonna put Enchanters into my team, and now everyone gets more healing and everyone gets more shield. But it doesn't work like this. If you have the Enchanter trait active, then your team, not your team, sorry. If you have the Enchanter trait active, then your Enchanters themselves buff each other. So having two Enchanters on your board means the Senna heal becomes stronger, or Lulu gives more HP to people that she ends up buffing. But it doesn't mean that, for example, it doesn't mean that if Ezreal has a BT or something, that he's gonna end up start healing himself more. And I think a pretty good way to showcase this is to play Scrap. So here we have a situation where we play for Scrap. Well, let's just make a few examples just to really get the point across. Okay, so let's just make a few examples. So example number one is we have 4 Scraps without Enchanters. What's the shield value? Well, it should be 40 shield for everyone. Yes, 40 shield for everyone. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that was example number one. Example number two. So instead of, now we're gonna activate the trait. So now we have Enchanters active. So I think what a lot of people right now think is that, well, instead of 40 shield, you should get, everyone should get a 25% buff for the Scrap shield, but it doesn't actually work. It doesn't actually work like this. So what's gonna happen now is that the non-enchanters get a 40 Scrap shield, but the enchanters get a 50 Scrap shield. So what's happening here is that the Scrap shield gets applied to every unit, but the enchanters give themselves a higher shield, and that's it, right? So putting 2 enchanters on your board doesn't mean that your entire team gets a stronger Scrap shield. It means that the enchanters in your team get a larger Scrap shield. Okay, but there's also a few more examples I wanted to showcase. So for now, let's just get rid of all of the Scrap units. Okay, so here we have a situation, well, let's do it like this. So here we have a situation with a Locket on a Senna, but the Enchanter trait is not active. So she's a 1 cost, so it should be 300 shields for 5 people in total. So she should be receiving right now a shield of 1500. Perfect, nice. Okay. So let's do the same experiment, but now this time let's activate the Enchanters. So what should happen here is that the Senna is the owner of the Locket. So now we're gonna see that she has a shield of 1875. Okay, so what exactly happened here? So the thing is that Senna is the owner of the Locket. So that means that the shield that she gives out to everyone is amplified by 25%. So instead of 300, everybody gets a shield of 375. And this will end up resulting in Enchanters usually being your best candidates if you want to maximize Locket value. So what happens if we end up with a Locket on somebody that's not an Enchanter, but he's affecting an Enchanter? So let's just get this one out of the way. Let's just do it like this. Okay, so here we have a situation with Poppy has a Locket, but she's not an Enchanter, but she will be affecting both Enchanters and non-Enchanters. And the end result is that the way it should work is that it's 1500. So that means that because now Poppy is the owner of the Locket. And that means that because Poppy is not an Enchanter, the shield gets applied to everyone. And like I explained in the beginning, having Enchanters doesn't mean that the shield effects or the healing effects from other people ends up getting buffed. So as a consequence, they also don't have an increased Locket Shield because it's not based on themselves. It's based on the Locket Shield from the Poppy. So yeah, this is, I think, the examples I wanted to make. I mean, there's also, I guess, the Ardent Sensor example. I made a video about that if you want to check it out. You can pretty much summarize it that stuff like Locket bricks with Ardent Sensor, but you can only buff it once with a Locket. So having like double Locket won't give you a double attack speed steroid. And also something to consider is that Enchanters with Ardent Sensor can't actually buff themselves. So there's just, I think this is also like that's something a lot of people believe is like, wait, why isn't my Senna getting an attack speed steroid if I'm running Ardent Sensor? If she's healing herself, well, that's because it doesn't work on a self heal. So yeah, I think that was it for me today. See you guys tomorrow.